Welcome back, loyal Dolphiones fans, and perhaps Mamoswinez fans. This is TheKillerNacho yet again, and this is Week 9 of the NGDL, and this is a huge matchup. Now, you might recall in the last battle, I had probably my worst loss. It may be one of my two worst losses in any draft league format. We got absolutely bounced by IV Pips and his Lisbon Leafeons 5-0. It was an awful match. It dropped us down to 5-3, and it was looking pretty dark. But then we actually got some help as both of our division rivals that we were tied for first also lost. We're also all now sitting at 5-3, so kind of similar to last week. But this week is actually quite a bit more important than last week because not only do we want to win to stay on pace and in the race for our division, but if we were to lose, not only would that hurt our chances for the division. This guy is sitting at 4-4, so if he wins, we'll have the same record, and he is in my conference, so we would be in direct competition for a wildcard spot, which, if he has the tiebreaker and we're tied, that would actually put me a leg down even in the wildcard race. So, if I want to make the playoffs, this is actually a really important match. It's a match that, if I lose, could really, really hurt me down the stretch. And if I win, obviously, I would push him to 2.5 games back behind me, being that I would have the tiebreaker. So this is really a really, really huge matchup. And it's against Fat Jesuz, who was the champion of the first NGDL. And he's a terrific battler, one that I've actually had a hard time defeating in draft leagues. He's always seemed to have my number. So it's a battle that I really need to come out strong and win. And it's going to be against a really tough opponent in Fat Jesuz, who always seems to play me harder in draft league formats than pretty much anyone else. But more than that, I actually ranked his team as the best team in his division going into preseason, so he does have a very scary squad, and I'll get to that in a minute. First, I did make a transaction this week, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. After Spiritome's failures last week, I felt the need to just cut ties with it for Manectric, and actually this isn't a completely random swap either. As soon as actually Fat Jesuz got rid of Manectric, and that was a couple weeks ago, I wanted it. In fact, I was looking to draft Manectric in that last spot during the original draft, and he actually took Manectric a couple picks before my final selection. I decided eventually just to go with Spiritome. But I really wanted Manectric in preseason just because I did want a Pokemon that could take some electric hits, and not to mention deal stab electric damage. And Manectric fits kind of like all the boxes for what I wanted in a PU slot. So I was really excited to potentially get it. But then of course it gets sniped for me. But now I get it again. And part of the reason I got Manectric is due to my opponent's team. And let's go ahead and go into that because the other thing I did transform into Charizard Y as well, and I'll get into that as well once we take a look at Fat Jesuz' squad. But yeah, there is the incredibly scary Carolina Mamoswinez, and as to why I want Manectric, I want it because of that Galvantula, and why I want Charizard Y is we're going to be playing some Weather Wars, it looks like, because he drafted a Weather squad, and that's pretty interesting. In fact, I thought this was going to be one of the more dominating squads, just from a synergy perspective. It's actually quite a shock to me that it went 4-4, so he's had a bit of mixed success this season. But obviously, you have Kingdra, you have Pelipper, you have Mega B, which he did pay a little bit more. I actually bid on Mega B up a little bit because I kind of wanted it back. It's an incredibly good draft Pokemon. But honestly, looking at his squad, it's only like the third Pokemon I'm scared of. Galvantula and Kingdra have the potential to absolutely destroy my squad in the rain, obviously. So I needed to take Charizard Y. I transformed it into Charizard Y so I could just set up the Sun to negate the rain. I'm not even going to go for Sun strats because I know that he has that Pelipper and he's going to play it probably pretty conservatively. But I need Charizard Y just to get rid of the rain if need be. Because Kingdra is an incredibly scary sweeper in the rain. It can be physical, it can be special, it can hit really hard on both sides, and obviously it has that really great water and dragon stabs, and has really good coverage moves like Ice Beam and stuff as well, which pretty much hits my whole squad. My squad is already weak to Ice and Electric, which is part of the reason I brought Manectric, because that Galvantula is hugely scary. Now, not because of Sticky Webs. Obviously, Sticky Webs would be annoying. I do want to get rid of them, but honestly, the team I'm bringing, 3 of them are flyers, and one of them doesn't care because it's going to not outspeed anything anyway, and that's Araquanid. Now, his squad does get hurt considerably more by Sticky Web, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my own Sticky Web or Araquanid, but what I'm really worried about that Galvantula is potentially like a Scarf, or even if it's not, Galvantula outspeeds most of my squad, and can KO. Like, one of the reasons I wanted Manectric is I wanted electric immunity. I'm going to bring a Scarf Manectric so I can outspeed, because obviously Bug Buzz is going to do huge damage to Manectric. Manectric is pretty frail. It's incredibly frail. But yeah, so when Beedrill's like number 3 on my list, that's a pretty scary team. And Beedrill doesn't even... It hurts my team pretty badly on its own. Now, I do have Celesteela, which is probably my best thing, because it does X4 resist Bug and is immune to Poison, but that's pretty much my only thing. So I have to make sure I keep Celesteela somewhat healthy, just so I don't get completely destroyed by that Beedrill, who really has no good way to hurt Celesteela. But the rain is going to really hurt, and because I was forced to go to Charizard Y, I do have a pretty large rock weakness as well, so I am anticipating Cobalion, because he's going to want to set up Stealth Rock, so I'm going to bring Aerodactyl this week, who's weak to water, and Electric. I'm bringing Charizard Y, who's weak to Electric. I'm bringing Araquanid, who's weak to Electric. I'm bringing Celesteela, who's weak to Electric. So, yeah, as you can see, I am bringing quite a few Pokemon that are weak, and I kind of have to. Now, I'm going to bring a Wakan barrier on 2 of them. Araquanid and Celesteela are both going to carry Wakan and have the ability to KO... hopefully KO the Galvantula and stuff, but it's really a poor matchup on paper for me, and it's gonna, it pretty much led to me having to use some weird berries. I think I'm probably gonna lead with Manectric in this one. It's depends on what he brings, because he does have a few potential switch-ins to a Volt Switch. He has, if he does bring the Gastrodon, I don't know if he's gonna bring Gastrodon. He might, just because of the electric immunity. And not to mention the water immunity, but he might also, that Porygon too, if it carries Trace, can come in on a Volt Switch. I'm kind of hoping he leads with either Galvantula or his Pelipper, because if he goes for Pelipper, I'm actually bringing Switcheroo on my Manectric, so I'm planning to do that right on turn 1, because I know he's not going to leave in Pelipper. If he does, it'd be an incredibly pro play, and just make me cry, but I don't think he'd leave Pelipper in on Manectric, and hopefully switch out into Porygon 2, or the Galvantula, not the Galvantula, the Gastrodon, which obviously you do not want to take a Choice Scarf. But if he does leave with that Galvantula, hopefully I can hit him with a Scarf Flamethrower. If he scarfed himself, well, he's not going to kill me with a Bug Buzz, hopefully, because that would require a crit, and I can still kill with Flamethrower. So, not to mention the Beedrill. I can outspeed the Beedrill with the Scarf, so I think I got most of his leads covered. But that Porygon 2, I'm just going to get into this last thing. Porygon 2 is also a massive problem for me, because I'm not going to bring Passimian this week. Passimian is a pretty poor matchup otherwise. I lack a really strong way to deal a lot of damage at Porygon 2, so I'm relying on things like Toxic, which I'm bringing on both Araquanid and Celesteela, as well as Switcheroo on my Manectric in order to potentially wither down and to make it not quite as much of a threat as it actually could be. Other than that, a Porygon 2 could absolutely be scary for me. I am bringing Roserade as well this week, and this time I'm actually going to bring Aromatherapy, because I am afraid of T-Waves and stuff from that Porygon 2, as well as a few other Pokemon can do some serious status. And I'm actually bringing Yachi on it, so maybe I can leave a hit from Kingdra on it. Not that I can do a whole lot, but, just in case it comes down to that. So, yeah, that is the game plan going through. I've already talked for 8 minutes. I am pretty scared about this one. I feel like he has probably the advantage on paper, and he always seems to get into my head too. So I'm kind of like, I'm a little bit optimistic that I brought the best team as I can bring, and I'll make this a game. But I'm a little bit pessimistic as well, because this is a really great team, and I think that he has the advantage on paper because of that Galvantula and the Kingdra. Those things could absolutely just break me down. So hopefully I'll be able to figure out something, and yeah, I'm going to play the match, and hopefully I can get a W. So yeah, without further ado, let's do it. Alright, super important match here against Jesuz, and there we go. So nothing really I didn't expect. Actually, no, he's bringing the Houndoom, which I kind of didn't expect, but that's fine. I guess it does make some sense, because it does have that fire immunity, so, yeah, but I'm actually really happy that he didn't bring the Porygon too, because that thing is a huge problem. So, gonna go ahead and lead with Manectric, stick to the plan. He's gonna go ahead and lead with Pelipper, and I'm like, okay, he's not gonna stay in against this, right? Let's go for the Hidden Power Grass, in case he goes out into Gastrodon, but Jesus always seems to be in my head, because he stays in, and I'm like, you gotta be joking. You gotta be joking, and he hits with the Waturium Seed. So, right off the gate, not too good for me right now, but we are going to lose Manectric. This is a Scarf Manectric, so it's not going to live this Hydro Vortex thing, which he doesn't even need a Hydro Vortex, although I guess he does need that to obviously confirmed hit, but going to lose Manectric. That sucks. There's my Electric Immunity gone, but it's not the end of the world. We can still come back from this. Going to go out into my Charizard. I obviously do need to set up the Sun. I don't want this thing to continue to have Sun. I actually go for the Hidden Power Electric, because now I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, maybe I should just play it safe a little bit and go for that. But he is going to go into Houndoom, which is okay. This is not going to take Hidden Power. I mean, Hidden Power Electric is a non-stab move. It's not that strong, but it should do decent damage to a weaker Pokemon like Houndoom. And here I'm like, okay, what is he going to do? Maybe Dark Pulse? I'm going to go into my Araquanid, who does have the, well, does have a decent special defense stat. And he does go for the Dark Pulse, so I'm like, okay. Does he really want to lose Houndoom here? I'm going to try to just set up my Sticky Webs, because they are really going to be really useful this week. So I just go for that. He ends up staying in, though, and going for the Dark Pulse. I'm like, really? Okay, now he has to switch, right? But now he's going to stay in. And he's just going to go to the Dark Pulse, so I just go for a Toxic. I could have just went for the, Liquidation, and even the Sun that would have annihilated this thing, but oh well, now my Araquanid is going to just go down pretty much. So not a great start here. We're going to lose Araquanid, but I'm actually pretty optimistic at this point, just because I do have the Sticky Webs up. He has to go out into his Pelipper, potentially defog them, and yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. So I'm just going to go to my Aerodactyl, because I know that that can keep Pelipper from switching in. And, yeah, so I am going... I know this thing is Scarfed at this point. I was kind of expecting to take a Dark Pulse, but I end up switching to Gastrodon, which is actually okay, because I get some decent damage here with an Earthquake. Now, I do have the Yachi Berry on my Roserade this week, so I know that my Roserade is going to be a pretty solid switch in here, because even if he does go for the Ice Beam, I won't take too much from that, and, yeah, he could have a Rindo Berry, which would kind of be annoying, but he just actually switched out into Galvantula, which is actually okay, because my Sticky Webs activate, and that means I should be faster than this thing. And, yeah, I just go for the Hidden Power, and that will hit that thing down to really low HP. Now, it's interesting that it didn't die outright, because Hidden Power Fire should have, so he definitely has some special defense investment, although because he didn't outspeed me, I don't think it's Scarfed, so it's probably actually what is it, a Focus Sash one anyway. But anyway, I'm just going to go for the Leaf Storm here, because I know that Houndoom is going to come back in. I hope that I can do enough damage that this Houndoom will die, because I know that it's about half dead, and I finally make a good play taking care of this Houndoom, so down it goes. Anyway, so Pelipper is going to come back in. I unfortunately can't really stop it. I'm actually, well, the one thing I do have to stop it from defogging here is a Sleep Powder, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I don't know if he's going to do it, though, because he did set up his own webs, although, realistically, his webs really don't matter, because the only thing it affects on my team right now is Roserade. My other three are Flyers, so it's not really a big deal, but getting that thing asleep is definitely helpful. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch out. I'm going to go into Charizard, hoping to scare this guy away, not to mention get rid of the Rain, and really unfortunate for me here, he ends up getting the first turn Wake, so that's not great. He ends up getting the defog, so that's kind of takes my main advantage away, because honestly, I was perfectly fine with letting those webs stay up on both fields, because it doesn't really affect me at all. But that's okay. In comes Gastrodon, and I should just go for the Hidden Power Electric, and it does absolutely nothing, and now I'm just going to go right back into my Roserade. Yeah, he's actually going to interestingly go for a Memento, and that's pretty interesting, because typically you go for Memento when you're trying to set something up, so I'm like, okay, what is he going to try setting up? He does go into the Kingdra, and that makes me think, okay, this thing could be Dragon Dance, but I know that I outspeed this thing before he gets a Dragon Dance, so I'm going to go for a Sleep Powder, but I miss, and he gets the sub, so that really sucks. I'm already at -2. I know that Leaf Storm should be able to break a sub, so I'm just going to go for it. And I know that a -4 Leaf Storm can also break a sub, but this is really unfortunate, because now he's going to be able to set up that Dragon Dance. And even if he was Lumberry, which I'm kind of thinking at this point, because he actually came in on me, he already knew I had the Sleep Powder, getting rid of that Lumberry would definitely be useful. But anyway, so he's going to go ahead and sub again. I just go for another Leaf Storm. After doing a calc, I know that I can't kill this sub with a -6 Leaf Storm, unfortunately, so I do have to switch, and I decide to switch this turn to my Charizard Y, knowing he's probably going to try to set up that substitute. So I did the calc. Waterfall should do about 3/4 to me, even in the sun, but that's fine. What I really need to do is get the sun and break the sub, so I should be easily be able to survive a Waterfall, go for a Dragon Pulse, and then be able to revenge kill with Celesteela. But he goes for the Waterfall, and he crits me. And that's where I lost it. Yeah, I'm so mad. I am so freaking mad. I go into Celesteela, it doesn't even matter at this point, because this Kingdra is now pretty much... yeah, I can't do much. I go for Hidden Power Electric. I actually should have calced it first. But this was a low roll anyway. Could have went for Air Slash, I guess, but this was a low roll, so I don't even break the sub, and now it's just his game. I mean, I'm just done. Man, I am so mad. Like, I'm furious. This game made me livid. Now, if he doesn't get the crit there, I break the sub. I go into my Celesteela, and he has to sack something to me. He has to sack the Kingdra. He has to either sack the Singer, the Pelipper, with, you know, because I hit Paraelectric. He had to, you know, either give me the Kingdra, give me the Pelipper, the weakened Galvantula, and his only other Pokemon was, the Mega B, which gets completely walled by Celesteela. So all I have to do is, you know, keep Celesteela above half, which what would have happened, even if he did go, you know, does go for the Outrage against my Kingdra. You know, I still have, you know, 66% HP, can easily take a hit from B, and he has a bunch of weakened Pokemon. And, yeah, that really sucks. Like, I mean, just going through it in my head, and I know how I sound. I sound really salty, but this match is easily the most frustrating match I've ever played in any draft league. I mean, that crit was just, it was ridiculous. It was, I mean, I felt like it was going to be a really interesting match. In fact, I thought I was going to actually win the game at the time of that crit, because I thought, you know, I had outmaneuvered him. I mean, you know, maybe a few mistakes early on, but I outmaneuvered him since then, and I was going to be able to take care of Kingdra, and still have Celesteela healthy enough to deal with B, which is basically what I needed. I had Aerodactyl, which outsped pretty much his entire squad at that point, except for the B, but I had Celesteela still. I mean, looking through it in my head, you know, like, you know, what was he going to do? Like, he wouldn't have had a sub, so he either gives me Kingdra or, you know, potentially Pelipper, if he wants to sack Pelipper. And then, you know, it goes into Galvantula to revenge kill. I go into Rose. Even if he does kill me with a combination of Thunder and Bug Buzz, then I just go into Aerodactyl, and then he has to sack something else. B is, like, and B is the only thing that outspeeds Arrow. And then, yeah, so I just win with Celesteela and sweeps from there. It's just, my Celesteela comes in and sweeps from there. It's so dumb. Yeah, I can't even talk straight. I'm just mad. I'm mad, and this loss really hurt, because now we're going down to 5-4. We lost 2 straight weeks, and now not only did Williams already win this week, so he's 6-3, so he's ahead of us in the division. Fat Jesuz is now ahead of us in the wildcard race. Even if Mr. Chabry falls this week, he has the tiebreaker over me too. So, yeah, the Dolphiones are in deep trouble, and I feel like, you know, I could have played a couple things differently in this match. I was, you know, made certain predictions that didn't actually happen, but overall I played pretty well, and I played to put myself in a position to win towards the end of that match, and, well, what can you do? I can't do anything about a crit. I can't do anything about it. Like, I played it as well as I could. Charizard, you know, came in. Should have been able to at least break the sub. And this is just the freaking crit. Like, I still missed the freaking sleep powder. He got the first turn wake to get rid of my webs with the freaking Pelipper. I got a low roll freaking hidden power electric just to, like, you know, rub salt in the wound, even though I pretty much already lost at that point, because I couldn't afford to let Celesteela take 2 outrages. I didn't play it wrong. So, yeah, that sucks. But that's, I guess, part of the game. So today's question today is going to be, if you could pick one Pokemon to get a new ability in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which Pokemon would you choose? As for me, I still want my good old Dustbuster to get the Fluffy ability. But yeah, if Dustbuster's even in the game. So yeah, leave a comment about that and see you guys again next time. I'm just going to go ahead and cry now. Bye!